talk show. This is Leah Richheimer. I just have to ask you one really, really crucial question. Okay, this is like drama. Okay, drama. We need drama here. Okay, so the question is, do you have one of those days? Oh, we're hitting feedback or something. Do you have one of those days where, like, actually not one of those days, like all the days where you wake up and nothing goes the way you expected it to go? You had this whole plan, you had your list, you had your whatever, what was supposed to happen. And did you ever notice that never in your life has the day gone exactly as the day was meant to have gone? Right? This happens to me. Right? Oh, look, hello. And here's the thing. It happens that way, and yet I still wake up the next morning thinking, okay, today it's going to go the way that I planned. And it never does. It never does. It never does. Okay, so here, why am I sharing this with you? Because there is a level of anxiety. I don't know if I call it anxiety. Like, what do you call it, Sarit? Sarit's here. Hello, Sarit. Go, Sarit. What?
I don't know if that angst. I would say angst or I.
Can you turn her volume? I can't hear her. Sarit's remote. We're doing a remote hookup.
Yeah.
Very good. We're very classy.
Sarit's finishing off her summer in New York.
Finishing off her summer in New York.
Yeah, in the hood.
So what's it called? Like you have that. It's like you spend the day upset that the day isn't going the way you want it to, right? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, it's almost like there's this sense of disappointment or failure that you didn't do what you wanted or get done what you wanted or it didn't work out the way you wanted. Yeah. So you don't feel accomplished at the end. You feel as though it was lacking.
You not only don't feel accomplished at the end, you don't feel accomplished as it's going on. Like maybe your first thing went well, and then you called Verizon or you called AT&T, whatever you called, and that was like, why didn't they just issue me the credit? They know the credit's mine now. I've got to talk to another thing on my to-do list, and I have to go through the supervisor and whatever and call back, and I waited on hold for 20 minutes and blah. Nothing goes the way we expect it, least of all how we expect and anticipate our husband to interact with us. Hello.
Right. Yeah.
Hello. It's like, no, it's not happening. But what I wanted to point out is the fact that we are so upset that the day doesn't go the way we want it to, and it never does, okay? And we expect it the next morning. We wake up like, today's going to be different. 99.9% of our days don't go that way, yet we wake up with that expectation. Same thing with our husband. We expect him to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to change in a certain way, to grow in a certain way, to be who we expected him to be when we married him, and it never looked the way it is. What we had in our head versus reality of who he really is so far away from each other. So I just wanted to put in a one word for you to think about. We know from our sources we're meant to do introspection every day, and we're supposed to think, okay, what can I improve on myself today? How can I grow today? What did I do today that's a mistake that I wished I had done better? This is Mesilas Yesharim. This is a very, very long-standing tradition of just looking at how am I going to logistically, am I going to live my life just out of my guts, out of emotions, out of, or I'm going to live my life out of logic, using my head and thinking about how do I want this to go? So here's how a day should go. You wake up, you have your list, you're all organized, you're ready to roll. The first thing doesn't go right. You say, check, okay, there's one down, one mistake. I have this thing. I'm going to give this to you as a gift. This is a free bonus for the show, okay? When you get a ticket, it's like the worst feeling in the world because we're never as mad at ourselves we're never as mad at other people as we are to ourselves, right? So when you get a ticket, you're so mad not just because it's $100 or $50 or $150 or whatever it is, right? You're mad because you yourself could have prevented it. It's your fault. So you're mad at yourself. So here's my thing that I do. Now, tickets are expensive these days, but I say at the beginning every January I get $250 get out of jail free card. So any ticket I get, right? If I get one in March and it's $100, it's still $150 left on my thing or whatever, And then you get another one in September that's $100. You're still $50 ahead of the game. It just takes out that anger. Are you there, Sarit?
Yes.
It's just a little game.
Tickets are not my thing, but I would definitely want the $250.
There you go. So, but the point is, it's just a little game I play with myself. Why? So that at the point when you're walking to your car, right, and there's that red thing with the thing in the envelope and whatever, and you're just like, I didn't just do that. I was only gone for 10 minutes. I would just dropped in. Whatever it is, that anger that you have with yourself or that ruining of your day doesn't get ruined so much because you play these little games with yourself. That's a freebie. But for this, what the homework for this one is about when the day is not going the way you want it to be, kind of like it's a check mark. Oh, this didn't go how I wanted it. This didn't go how I wanted it. That's normal. That's normal. I'm not going to get upset about that. I'm not going to let that bother my life. I'm not going to let that ruin my day. I'm not going to make that make me so upset and anxious and annoyed that I can't connect with my husband, that I can't connect with other people. I'm not going to let that ruin my life because guess what? 95% of my life does not go exactly as I planned it to. Now, with your husband, here's the secret here. When your husband isn't who you think he should be, he doesn't meet your expectations, and he doesn't do all the things, the way you've sort of, the script, the internal script we all have for our husbands, right? Okay, we have this of who they should be, okay? When it doesn't match, just say, I'm not going to let that take me from being close with him. I'm not going to use that as an excuse to pull away because I'm not in the middle of some romance novel. I'm not in the middle of some movie where we're riding off into the sunset. This is real. This is get real, okay? So for you to understand, for us to understand that with introspection, we can make these slightly little adjustments to our path. Then during the day when everything's bugging us and when our husband, everything he's doing is bugging us, and just be like, oh, am I really, it's not like I'm going to get over that hurdle and then tomorrow he's going to do something and it's ever going to get to a place where you're living under the roof with somebody and he's not going to do stuff that annoys you. It's just expect it. Expect the annoyance. Expect the annoyance in your life. Expect the annoyance with your husband. And then you'll be like, okay, this is life. This is the way it is. That's my message today.
What happens, Leah, if the annoyance is not of your husband? Meaning if the annoyance is of yourself because you imagined your day to go a certain way, meaning, let's say you always argue with your husband about something in particular, or you know that when you wake up and the morning rush is crazy and you're trying to get out the kids, you're feeling so harried and he doesn't help you the way you want. So you know it's going to be a point of altercation.
Right.
And so you wake up feeling very energized, feeling very ladies talk show, marriage secrets, ready. I got my tools. I'm going to do it right.
Right.
And then you mess up and you're so disappointed in yourself because you again
blew it.
Did not act the right way. So It's not that he disappointed you. It's that you disappointed yourself by how you acted towards him.
And you're describing, by the way, what every one of us goes through when we're trying to grow. If you weren't on the path to growth, you wouldn't be annoyed. You'd be mad at him or you'd let it wreck your whatever. Being upset with yourself and regret is the first step towards growing and being an awesome human being. Everyone says, "Oh, I don't do guilt. I don't do regret. Like I'm just marching forward." Like, excuse me, you're missing one of the most powerful tools that you have to be extraordinary. If you want to be mediocre, okay, good luck. Mwah, bye. No, joking. That was very mean. I didn't mean to say.
Right, exactly.
We're not after being mediocre. Anyone who's here and watching this show and all those present, we want to be extraordinary. And the way you do that is by, I wish I had done this better. I wish I had done that better. So I totally hear it, Sarit, and being mad at yourself, if it's going to, slow you down, like there's some people who beat themselves up a lot, I should have said this, I should have done this or whatever. If you're one of those people, then maybe you need to temper this. But for most of us, we that introspection, that looking at ourselves and feeling badly about what we have done is the very first step towards becoming great. And you just, you might have to take a journal and say, what did I do? Because you might forget, what I'm saying, like the next day, what did I do here? What would I have liked to do different? I could have told my husband, instead of saying this, I could have said that. Plan it. Use logic. People are always trying to shoot from the hip. Do you know what? So it's very interesting. I used the term in a class recently, and I said, oh yeah, and people are shooting from the hip. And they're like, what is shooting from the hip? Shooting from the hip means if you take a gun, can we talk about guns? Is this like politically correct? Anyway, if you take a gun and you sit there and you look at, what's that thing called?
You aim it.
But what's that huzimugu? The scope or whatever, and you're looking and you're trying to aim it and you're trying to get the thing and you spend 10 minutes and you go to, that's called, you're going to, good chance of hitting the target or better chance. Shooting from the hip means you pull the gun out and you've got like zero chance unless you're, a Clint Eastwood or
A cow. I
something,
was gonna say a cowboy
a
from
cowboy
those
or
old
something.
Western movies.
Yeah, whatever it is, shooting from the hip means you're not really aiming. You're just doing whatever comes, at the spur of the moment. And when you live your life and live, worst of all, live your relationships by shooting from the hip, you're asking for trouble. That's a damaging thing because it's going to go off all over the place. Where if you think about it, you say, my husband came home from. I told myself heard the ladies' talk show, and I told myself when my husband comes home tonight, I'm going to greet him at the door, and I'm going to be in a good mood, and I'm not going to bicker at him. And what happened? 20 minutes before he walked through the door, the pot boiled over, the kid jumped out of the bathtub and ran all the way down and whatever. And worse yet, he did it before he was clean, so I had to get him back into the bathtub with all the dripping everywhere, whatever. And then your husband comes home and you're like, hi, can you grab some towels? And you weren't so sweet and nice and whatever. You can kick yourself, you can be mad. No, you write down, okay, before half an hour before my husband comes home, I'm not going to pick up my cell phone. I'm not going to check my messages because they're going to be aggravating. If my mother-in-law calls, I'm not calling. Did I just really say that? No, I'm not going to talk to her. But anyway, whatever it is that you need to do to support yourself, logically think it through. What do you need to do to support yourself to be the best you? Make a plan, implement it, and that's the best way to get through it. Okay, thank you for joining us. This is the Ladies Talk Show. See you next time.